Always good.
Mm. Wow, I got all these pop-ups all over my screen.
Oh yeah,
This.
part of the issue. Oh, there we go. Okay, we are live. So let me just.
I got all these pop-ups all over my screen.
Oh yeah.
This.
Oops.
Part
And
of
I
the issue.
better turn off our sound, I
Oh, there
guess.
we go. Okay, we are
Oh,
live. Oh yeah, getting some background
hold on.
audio.
There we go. All right, that should take care of that. So we're lagging a few seconds, but we are live. Let me just see if I can put up a note about it. Let me see here.
That is currently what I was doing.
Good, good deal. Okay. Okay. So, like I said, I am new at this, so this meeting is being live streamed. Okay, yes. I need to figure out how to see the comments and things if should we get any. It looks like I can actually see them on YouTube. As
That's
far as
probably the
seeing,
easiest way to view them.
yeah, okay, cool, cool. I'll plan on that then. Not sure what we'll get, but we'll just have to see. All right, cool. Well, listen, I appreciate you meeting with us today.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry about the delay there. I had work
No,
priorities instead, so
work comes first every time, you know.
yeah, they gave me the call and I was like, ah, of course.
What do you do for?
Currently landscaping. Um, on the side, I go out and pick rock. So if you find rock on like the side of a building or something, especially over here in this area, it probably came from me.
Nice. You get,
Yeah.
you said you're in Wisconsin, is that right?
No, Montana.
Oh, Montana. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where the antelope play. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we've been dealing with it kind of worked out having these couple days off because it's just been nonstop rain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah. Well, I'm glad it worked out.
Now I had notes and now I
Mhm.
don't have notes. I don't know
Don't you
where
love
they
that?
went.
Well, I mean, I have a few. I could at least kind of get us started, I guess, a little bit.
Sure.
One of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you is because you've been in the game for a little while, and so you've had to navigate copyright issues before that have come up.
I've had one copyright strike in the about 3.5 years I've been on YouTube. Um, the first one actually came from well, it was bandmate related.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, it was a copyright. I had notes on this. Um, it was actually from the venue that Bandmate was playing at. It was one of their first, I think it was the first concert they, or yeah, first concert they ever did in the United States. It was at Securicon in Seattle.
Okay. Okay.
The venue actually had some kind of licensing rights to be able to publish the lives.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
Because it was a convention. They wanted to do some commercial stuff with it. I actually posted a live from that concert and they immediately strike me.
Okay.
We
Okay.
went back and forth for about 2 months. They almost allowed it, and then somebody maybe higher up that they were asking permission from cut it off.
No, I don't think so.
But that's
Yeah.
the only issue I've really had with an actual copyright strike. Back then, I don't know how it is now. I heard there's like copyright school you can go to.
Yeah, yeah. It consisted of four questions that were mostly no-brainers.
Oh,
Like, is this a
okay.
copyright? How about this? What
They
if you're
didn't have that then. You just had to let it fall off.
doing... Well, the thing
Um,
is, it doesn't fall off. It's just you have to do this, and then the clock starts to when
oh,
it.
really? Yeah,
Yeah.
see, an automatic clock starts. I think it took like I can't remember back when it was like 90 days or something like that
Yeah,
could
yeah, that's still what
eventually.
it is. So it's funny. We're going to actually see the warning on September 13. It'll expire the day before.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I was watching out really carefully for tickets. I joined the Patreon lowest level. It's all I can really manage at the moment. But it worked out. I mean, we got the notice that the tickets were on sale,
Oh yeah.
And we got right in, and thankfully, I'm really so glad we did because we even got meet and greets, which these days is not so easy.
Oh
So
wow, that's really cool. Cool to
yeah,
hear.
yeah, we're excited. We're gonna go. Adrian's actually drawing a picture of each of the band members and is going to present it to them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
That'll
Figured
be
just
really cool.
to show that we are in fact fans as well as react. We became fans because we were reacting to them. Is what happened. So
Okay.
okay, well that's cool. And of course, the thing that went up and everything you were saying in the thread about copyright and copyright law was absolutely true.
Yeah, I think people are kind of trivializing copyright. I think they're just seeing it as a yes or no. Like a band can say yes or no, and it's so much more complex than that.
Right.
I actually reached out to my YouTube management company on this issue for some feedback.
Hmm.
Um, and a little bit more deep dive in like the complexities of maybe what a company would deal with when they come across something like that. Um, it's not as simple as the band saying, "Yeah, go ahead,
Hmm.
allow that." It's so
Right.
much more complex than that.
Yeah, I mean, they have to weigh all kinds of things. I mean, I think it's easier when it's an unreleased song and they want it to stay unreleased. But,
Right.
generally
And
speaking,
they might have had some, they did have some options there. They could have just uploaded that what okay,
oh
this is
yeah,
coming from my management company. They could have taken that original file or that stream. They could have uploaded it, put it on maybe a like unlisted
sure, yeah,
or something to
maybe
get
for
the
members.
ID
Oh
so they
right,
can
yeah,
have control over that live stream and maybe have monetized it. But I
hmm,
think that um they are saving that monetization for a later date.
yeah, yeah, very likely. I mean, the
They
album,
they'll most likely release like a version or something later on, like their quality and
yeah,
under their yeah, just under how they want it to look and under their quality. And
yeah,
they might
very
have
cool.
had it's difficult because a group relies on a stream and they're in many ways from whether they want to um like
Okay.
end up on Billboard or Oricon charts or sales tracking, all kinds of things like that. A stream, enough streams equivalent an album sale for them in those charts. They
Yeah,
also have to look at things like that. It's much more
things that just
complex.
quantify, how well it's doing.
Right.
Yeah,
They what is the value number do you put on a reaction streamer getting 10,000 views compared to an album sale, a
right.
potential album sale because we went and watched the original on their channel,
Hmm.
and I keep looking over here, but my camera's
Yeah,
right
oh, I,
here.
I know, I know the deal. I've got two monitors.
Yeah, that's what I got is two monitors. So it's I read a lot of comments. Well, why didn't they just allow it? And I'm just like, you have no idea. They're not.
Yeah, it's yeah,
They're answering to executives. They're answering to management teams. There's a chain of command, and depending on how their contract is wrote in the first place, they might not even ever even be able to have a say
yeah,
in
yeah.
something as simple as, hey, well, can I have my own video that I created go up on YouTube for a
Hmm.
reactor?
And they might say no or what have you.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it was interesting that the stream that we put up was actually very low quality, and I think that's the one that most people put up. I did
right.
notice later on a much better quality clip of the entire song came out, but I was like, no,
Yeah,
I don't
they
need anything to do with
I
that.
I watched that happen in real time on Discord. They took some pro audio footage that I think it was the 30-second clip
Oh
that they
yeah,
put out
mhm.
and they spliced that into
Oh yeah,
that
yeah. I
local
saw
and
Wade
then they
Potter did that.
upscaled it as well. And I
Oh, oh.
Yeah, they
No,
upscaled it from like the 360p to the 1080p
well,
version.
as a matter of fact, I saw an even better clip of the entire, what probably was the original clip that the 30 seconds came from. Somebody had that and they put it up.
Oh wow.
They didn't have it the next day though.
Right,
So,
right, right.
and I mean, people were warning them. I don't know if they got it down in time or not to avoid a
I
strike.
almost, I took actually some time off. I am so inconsistent on my YouTube. My retention is terrible. I'll do a bunch of videos, take 2 months off. Do a bunch of
Yeah.
videos, take 2 months off. I'm so inconsistent with it. I was better back when I first discovered Bandmade, but
Yeah. How long ago was that, roughly?
I think my first one went up about 3.5 years ago.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
No, makes sense. Okay. So, very interesting. Yeah, there are all kinds of things that come into play. Of course, they want to monetize their content. The unreleased stuff is the stuff that's the real stuff you should keep away from. As you probably know, Bandmade will allow a lot of their content to be reacted to without a problem, and they'll even share the revenue. But which means
right.
10% or something. It's not a
It's
huge amount,
it's
but
very interesting because we reached out to them on multiple occasions. I know a few people or a few reactors have I'm sure like Ryan Mirror, Dicodec, all those
oh,
guys
mm-hmm.
have reached out to Bandmade and their management team or asked them behind the scenes or internally, however they went about it. I did it through my company. And they flat out said, no, we're not going to allow you to get whitelisted or to monetize the content directly. They it was just a straight no.
It's like we can't do that.
We'll allow you to do what we're doing, subject to change.
Right, sure, sure. I mean, they're doing a cost benefit analysis, no doubt, like,
Absolutely. And I think a group like that, from where it's originating from, benefits from us.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think they've
Yeah.
done a deep dive in the analytics on that.
Hmm.
And there's some reactors out there, especially early on. I don't see um viewership too high anymore, but
Right. I
there's
remember
there was
Lost in Vegas and
yeah, there was
Jamel,
channels out there
aka
getting
Jamal.
100,000 views on
Yeah,
their
like every
videos.
time. How
Yeah.
about those two brothers that had In the Air Tonight? Um,
Yeah, absolutely. They were, there was some that were just getting huge views, and they had to quantify that, like, hey, that's a lot of
yeah,
outreach.
yeah. I mean, they got TV spots,
Yeah,
so featuring them. So, yeah, I mean, it has changed a lot. I'm sure a lot more people are reacting now. It was pointed out to me that the YouTube creatorship has just exploded in about the last 3 years, probably since the
it
pandemic. I mean,
it
it's
really
something like
has.
7 times what it was. It's crazy.
Yeah, and they boast about that in their description on their YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
Bandmate does. I don't know if you've ever read that.
No.
Yeah, they got it says uh right in their channel description,
Oh,
it
the guides.
says
Mm.
the total number of views on YouTube is over 170 million, and the total number of views on reaction videos is over 40 million.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
That's a significant number
that's
of
right. That's
of
right.
reactions, and they say that right in their description of Bandmade on YouTube.
Yeah,
So they're
and just
tracking that.
yeah, very good. I mean, and they should.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Somebody's not doing their job if they don't. I mean, the analytics make all the difference now. I mean, that's how you figure out, is it worth it
oh
to
yeah,
plow or to, or really to do any business venture. You've got to look at what the data is telling you. And that's one nice thing about YouTube is you have access to all this data about
right.
people watching, how long, where they dip out, yeah, where they are in the world. I mean, it's all very useful.
Yeah, and we're lucky enough. I think Bandmade themselves, they've gone through some contract renegotiations. We don't know exactly, when they are, but we just
Hmm.
know that they have re-signed with their label. And they came from a different label. Actually, when I was just starting out, they were making that switch. I think they went from Nippon to Pony
Uh-huh.
Canyon.
Okay.
early on, and they actually had a ton of content that is no longer available on
Oh,
YouTube.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
some
Okay.
early on stuff that um uh you can't find anymore, or you can find it if you look hard
Hmm.
enough.
Hmm.
People do keep everything Bandmade does,
Sure. Yeah. Well,
if you want to
internet,
ask.
internet is forever, but
Yeah.
but yeah,
But
no, that's funny.
yeah, so they're lucky enough, and I think they respect, and they love the reactions. They've come out and said it many times that they watch them. They're aware of a lot of reactors in that music space and stuff. So
That's
I
good.
think under their how big they are and growing and stuff, and I think they've worked that into where we wouldn't have a problem. But that one line they did send me in that email, subject to change,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
I
So
mean, yeah, makes sense.
we could be sitting on 100 reactions and all of a sudden click, done for.
Yeah. Well, I just hope they block them and don't strike them all.
Right. You never know in this music space, because at the end of the day, we still don't, no matter how much permission we get, there could be
Hmm.
an executive somewhere that could
Right.
change hands and look at it and go, no, we need all
Yeah.
of that money.
Well, that's the scary part. There's a lot of people online, I mean, on YouTube, and not just music, but they react to all kinds of things, all kinds of content from other creators. And that can run into trouble, technically speaking. I think it's the hardest with music and film, things like that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you just never know because technically, I mean, as you pointed out, technically the whole practice is illegal if you're not using more than, a few seconds of any given
Absolutely.
video. And that doesn't matter
Absolutely.
what it is. I mean, you can even talk about Sniper Wolf, who reacts to TikTok and has, what,
Right.
I don't know how many followers, millions and millions of followers, and technically not legal, but
Yep.
she gets to monetize. Most music
Yes.
does, we don't monetize, just so people know.
So I've actually had my management company that I signed for reach out, and this is the K-pop space. I
Yeah.
haven't had it very much success in the rock space, especially in Japan. But I have heard others being able to, like, there's a company, big label called Averex. I think they're the subsidiary that owns XGalX, who does XG.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of them
No,
before.
I'll have to
They're
look that up.
I think they're a seven member Japanese all girl group. Um
Okay. XG? No, wait. Averex. What was the name?
the band is called XG.
Okay. Oh,
They're an all Japanese girl group. They've really come out over this last year, and they're growing. They're more of an R&B, like hip hop style group.
okay. Cool. All right.
But excellent singers, excellent at what they do. I've heard reactors been able to get permission directly from the company to react to their stuff, but other than that, they're over there. They allow it, but it's really hard to get it in writing.
Okay. All right. That
But
kind of makes sense. Yeah.
I do have some whitelisting for some companies out of Korea that have allowed me, because they've seen some of the viewership that I initially got
Hmm.
on my channel, to go ahead and say, yeah, go ahead and react to that. We won't even um, put a copyright. We'll let you just straight
Oh,
monetize that.
nice.
But it's been certain material, and it's been under what they say. Um, Most of the time with something like that, you don't need a shout out or some kind of product placement or whatever like that. They're just allowing it just strictly as a to draw people to that
Right. So people can
music.
see it and learn about the band and all.
Right. Um, and it could be hit or miss because you're relying on your viewership. A lot of times those bigger reactors within those music spaces will have some kind of ads or other
Mhm.
marketing to push that people their audience to that video and stuff like that. I didn't at the time. I don't. I am so lazy when
Interesting.
it comes to YouTube. Very unedited videos.
Sure.
I
Okay.
rely mostly on OBS to make my video look good, and then just hit
Nice.
end, go straight up on YouTube. I could spend a lot more time on it, and it's just I just
Well,
can't get myself to do
I
it.
mean, if it doesn't, yeah, if it doesn't move you, it doesn't move you. There's no need, you know.
Yeah, I never went into YouTube to monetize at all. I actually went in to find this music.
Nice. Okay.
Um,
Well, that's
it kind of
interesting.
led me into different little areas to try to monetize and stuff like that. But it's like I
Mm.
said, I'm very inconsistent.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing with YouTube. Consistency is key, you know.
Yeah,
So, yeah, no, I hear you. And in fact, I came at it the other way. As you can might maybe can tell, I'm a little bit older, and I got laid off from a job in 2021 after 20 years, and then I trained in data analysis. The other one was more graphic design
right.
and publishing, which has come in handy actually.
Oh,
And the next
for
thing,
this, I'm sure.
oh yeah, and then I learned about data analysis, and that's been useful too, to carry over. But I got another job and then was laid off after 11 months for no apparent reason. So I was like, you know what? And ageism is a thing. So it's tough for me to just walk in now and get a job somewhere in what I was doing. I mean, I can always
Sure.
go to Burger King maybe, but that's not really my thing. And I got all these skills. I'm also a musician. So, and Adrian is too. We've loved music our whole lives and have been creating it, listening to it, collecting it. And so reacting is great, but I mean, I initially went in thinking, well, I'll bet you I can find some type of idea that I can monetize that is useful to people, something useful.
Right.
I have actually found a number of ways that I could monetize and probably make a lot of money, but I just wouldn't feel good about myself in the morning. Like there's all kinds of topics you could get into that it's just
Absolutely.
soul sucking, and they'll get views, but yeah, I'd much rather do what we're doing now and build slowly. And reactions kind of came about. We were doing reviews first. Of course, we didn't have much of an audience. When the
Right.
reactions started, then we started building our audience, and so that's good. We were able to build a nice group of people that really enjoy what we're doing. And we do pivot a little bit here and there. I've been looking at maybe getting another channel started that I can put other content on, where I'm not so much relying on copyrighted material,
Yeah,
but
makes
there,
sense.
there may still be a little bit of that, but maybe not direct music. For example, one of the things I was thinking about looking at Miyako from Love Bites, guitarist and piano player, just
Right.
amazing, and also their one of their primary writers. Well, she's got a heavy metal demo series up right now, and she's
I
up
have
through.
looked at it.
Yeah, she's
Yep.
up through part three. And I was thinking, it would be great actually to take that. And I've got Logic Pro here. She's using Pro Tools, but, follow along with her and just create something of my own while doing it, and show both and then the results at the end and all. And now, technically, I mean, it's not going to be demonetized per se, but that is her content. So you get into the question again, well, is this okay?
Right. That is her direct content. So, you might have some luck reaching directly out if you send
Yeah.
enough DMs to her Instagram or something like that. She might see it and go, yeah,
Yeah.
sure, or you never know.
It- it-
It's a lot of times to get a yes in this space is persistence. Even
mhm.
if you get a no, ask again.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never know who's going to see it.
That's right. That's right. So we may do that. I actually am connected with her. We just started a Twitter X account recently. I'd gotten off of there, but I had heard some advice that you might want to build a following there as well and start cross posting some things
Right.
there. So I'm looking at that. I'm figuring it's another process. Take a few months probably to get to the right numbers. But yeah, connected with her and with others in Love Bites and Bandmade, The Warning, people like that, and a few others. And yeah, actually, I need to remember to post over there more because the followers are starting to come.
Yeah,
But I
I
haven't
get
put up
that.
anything in 4 days. So yeah, sorry about that, folks. I will do that. But yeah, it just brings into question. Well, I mean, you've probably heard Rick Beato, you know,
Yes, yep.
of course, and this is one of his major pet peeves. Don Henley. He's not a fan of Don Henley, for example, because the Eagles will strike you just for doing a reaction, and there's a number of other bands that will do that, and it's
Yeah,
just old
I
school thinking.
was I was scrolling through your channel, and because I've actually wanted um to kind of pivot into other music, especially classical music or classic rock and
Oh,
that
sure,
nature and stuff like that. But US labels terrify me.
yeah.
Or
Yeah,
other labels. When I hear UGM or Sony Records or
yeah,
Universal, I'm immediately like, oh gosh, where do you even start? Am I putting the right content up?
yeah,
Who
yeah,
allows what? A lot of times you just have to go and look at other reaction channels to see, hey, is
right.
this content going up?
Yeah, is it surviving?
Yeah, and it's like I said, it was when I went from my Japanese reactions to my Korean reactions, that was another. I was like, what am I getting myself
Oh,
into?
yeah.
And to this day, it's been overwhelming on that front. Just doing Japanese band reactions and stuff like that was a lot for me and my my laziness, I should say. And then
Yeah.
I got into a whole nother music genre and it was just like and I still want to do like Japanese anime opening music. A lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
really cool rock
Yeah,
music comes from that. And then
pretty high energy.
I also want to put it on TikTok. I also want to put it on Twitter. I also want to put it on my Facebook, and it's just like, oh, I
Yeah, then it becomes a serious job, and which, okay. You know,
yes, right.
but yeah, you're right. It can get to be a lot and it can burn you out.
And
So,
all I wanted to do when I started this channel was just to find new music.
yeah. Well, there
So,
you there you go.
and now it's
Yeah.
become a job. So, and that's what I struggle with
Mm.
every day.
Well,
That's why I have reached out to, so I'm signed with a management, or I guess you could call it a creator
mhm.
agency. The one I'm with is called Ritual Network.
Ritual Network.
Yeah, they work with about two, maybe 300 different artists right now. They're slowly growing. They actually have some bigger names signed with them, so they're pretty knowledgeable and they can answer your questions.
Oh,
But the thing about that is you have to be able to, um, I guess, subsidize. You have to have already income to be
oh, I
able to
see.
put your income into that. They
I got
will
you.
ask for costs, whether it's upfront, whether it's, hey, send them a file to edit. So
Oh,
one of the
mm,
things that I'm actually going to have them do is they're going to take my raw videos, they're going to cut them into a YouTube short for me and a TikTok,
mhm.
and they're going to um, put a header and an ender on the
Sure.
videos,
Yeah. Yeah.
clean it up a little bit, and then send them back to me, and I'll be responsible for the uploads. But the thing about that is you have to pay them.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Sure.
it's
Of
not
course.
free, and there's different ways you can pay them. You can do upfront costs. You can do um if the video is monetized, you can pay them part of that.
Hmm.
Um, you can if you have sponsor or product placement, you can pay them off of that. There's ways that they'll work for you.
Gotcha.
Um, I paid for just an initial upfront cost that they're going to cover me on a certain amount of videos.
Mm.
They're not really going to, unless I pivot into product placement. They've been actually, they just sent me an email this morning. Hey, are you sure you don't want to do any product placements? You know, because they'll work with companies that you see a lot of times on reaction channels, audio software or
Right.
editing software, or hey, you want to put this wallet at the beginning of, like, a Ridge wallet is a big
Mm.
one you might
Okay.
see. Other things like that you can add into your video that you can get paid for and stuff like that.
Maybe
I just
sponsors as well.
Yeah, sponsors and
Yeah.
and a lot of times though, if you agree to that, you can't say no.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I've kind of avoided that whole realm so far.
Right.
You know.
So they get what they get in based on your views, and if you don't put that on your channel, that it could be a breach depending on
Yeah.
what you sign into. These companies sign you agreements on everything.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
So, and they amend a lot. So like I would have to amend my current contract with doing product placements,
Sure.
and it's
Okay.
just it's not worth it. There's other smaller I've heard there's other smaller networks and partnerships and stuff like that that aren't as strict. So, and there's hundreds of them. So it's just a matter of reaching out to them. A lot of times they have like a spokesperson that'll you can get in contact with within your email and exchange emails and
Interesting.
bounce off
Yeah.
your ideas and stuff. They'll ask you your retention, your
Mhm.
viewership, they'll get
Right.
into all of that and stuff. But if that's something that you're interested in, I would just start sending emails out and saying, hey, this is
Yeah.
what I'm doing, this is what I want to do, this is the direction, what products do you have to help with
Sure.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we might look into that then. That might be interesting. As far as the services go, I do all that stuff on this channel. Just over time, I've picked up all the skills I need to do everything on this channel,
Right.
and there's a lot, but it
Yeah,
keeps it interesting.
I totally get that. And I could do a lot of it myself, and I have. I've
Mhm.
done short contents and stuff, and that's all
Yeah.
came from me. It's just I just cannot get
I
myself
hear you.
motivated to do it on a consistent basis. I actually went a way I was actually doing my own not Patreon, but setting up somewhere where somebody could go and say, "Hey,
Oh,
here's five
sure.
bucks to donate to
Right. Right.
listen to this music and stuff like that." And I'm constantly turning that thing off and on.
Oh, yeah. It gets to be
I
too
don't
much.
want to. I don't want to deal with it this month. Turn it off. I don't want to deal with
Yeah.
it this week. Turn it off.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about that. I've noticed that people will pay for reactions, which is nice. I feel a little weird about it sometimes. I'm like, well, really? I don't know if and that it's the same thing. That's also why I've kind of avoided Patreon and
Right.
other things. I like having complete control over what we're doing and to be able to pivot if necessary. Because I would like to do more things like maybe straight up interviews one on one, but also interviews that are already online. I'd like to take a look at. And other promotional content that
Hmm.
maybe is out there for bands. Maybe talk about the music business. Um, you know, Things like
Exactly.
that.
And why I've turned that thing off and on so much is that same internal battle that I want to be able to do what I want to do and discover the
Mhm.
music. I don't, it's so uncomfortable when you get something that you already know you're not going to like.
Yeah, that's the thing. Hey, life is short. You got to do what you love doing.
I love all music, and
Mhm.
I will never disregard a band. I might say under
Yeah,
my own pretext, hey, this isn't for me.
right.
This could have been cooler, or this is kind of weird, but I'll never it's their art, and I totally respect it, but
Sure.
it's so difficult to put on a smile on your face when you're just like, this is all right.
Yeah, no, the
I
way Adrian,
understand it, but
yeah,
and
totally,
that's what you're
totally.
going to deal with if you put up paid reactions.
Right, right. I mean, you might as well just go get a job at that point.
Yeah,
I kind of
absolutely.
my thought. I
You
could
have
always
to
get
be
on
comfortable
Fiverr.
with just doing whatever, and I'm not that kind of reactor.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So,
just, if I don't like something, I'm going to tell you about it. And people don't like to hear that. They don't like you telling them that their music that they want to see is not good.
yeah, yeah. Often we've done reactions and been like, we didn't like this very much, so we just don't even put it up.
Oh,
Like, you know what?
you
It's
know,
just,
speaking about Love Bites, I had one of my very first reactions go up on Love Bites. And the type of music that in the metal scene that they do isn't
mhm,
my favorite. And
mm,
I said that it's not my favorite. I
mm.
never said it was bad. I
Yeah,
never said that
it's
I didn't
reasonable.
like it. I said it's not my favorite. It was more of on their thrashier side. So
Hmm.
it was even better for me than some of the others,
But
the
still
power
not quite
metal,
your
that
thing.
stuff that they do. Is a
Yeah.
little bit more on the thrashier side. And I said it's, not my favorite. Oh man,
Yeah.
I had a guy make multiple accounts, multiple
Yeah.
emails to harass me for
Yeah.
months.
Hmm. Yeah. It happens. There's some people that are really they get a little too into it and they lose
Yeah,
their bearings, I think. It's
it
just what
it
happens.
it, you could just turn it off and ignore it and stuff, but it really affects you to want to do that band again.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
did, and if you go back to my first Love Bites video from my next Love Bites video, there's quite I mean, almost a year gap, I think, between
Okay.
the two. Just because of that, I just wanted it to air out, let it go. I was
You don't
didn't
get
want
that
to,
bad feeling picking up that band again, you know?
right. Yeah, I
Sure,
just
sure.
is this guy gone, or
So you found other interests, you know? Yeah, no,
right,
I totally get that. Well, here, so let me float a situation that came up yesterday. It just so happens. Now, we react to a lot of warning content.
right,
We believe in the band. We want to promote them. We think they're special and more people should hear them. Great. Well, they don't have a lot of content from the last year or two of them in concert that's official pro shot video. So I went out, started scouting around the entire internet, just trying to find what I could from their European tour that just happened a little earlier this year, April,
yep,
really. And finally found a couple of things. I decided early on I was going to have to find two videos because it was rare to get both a good picture and good sound, or vice versa. And I did. I found some pretty good videos, and I set to work putting them together in well, in Premiere Pro, putting
right,
it all together, and then bringing the sound into Logic Pro and working on it for a while, and just trying to work out the issues so that it would be a fairly consistent listen throughout, and that it would sound better. You could hear everything a little bit better. You know, often it'll be muffled. You get way too much bass, maybe too much of the 500s, hertz area.
sure,
And so I finally got something. I'm like, great, okay. So we went and we set about reacting to that video, and went well. Went up in 8 parts. So we finished it, and I'm cleaning up all of the files. Finished it a few days ago, and thinking, I think fans are going to like this, just as a file of its own, so they don't have to listen to our reactions if they don't want to. And it's pretty good, and there's not much else. So I went ahead and I put it. I didn't even think too much about it. I put it up. Within a half hour, somebody was commenting who has a channel and does a lot of camming at the shows. I don't know if he's got clearance for it. There's a particular artist that he really likes, and that's what the channel's based on. But he immediately said, "You're stealing. You're stealing from the original cameras, and why are you stealing?" Essentially, and I'm like, "Well, I was. Yeah, it took me a moment. I was confused by that. I'm like, is it stealing?" I'm like, well, he brought his camera to the show, and we love when people do that. And we like being
right,
able to see the shows. I'm not putting people down for doing it. Technically, just like with our reactions, it's an illegal activity for most bands, right? So they don't own the content that comes out of it. They do, fine, they recorded it, but they don't have any rights to it legally.
right,
If they had an agreement with the band, that would be a different story, But these guys are just really big fans. And the person that contacted me wasn't even involved whatsoever. It was neither of the two guys. And it doesn't even look like he's interested in the warning. I was interested in why he was even there. Anyway, went back and forth a little bit, and then I said, you know what? This is not worth my time. I don't think this person understands. I think I'm getting gaslit here. Like maybe it's an idea, a really nice idea, that it belongs to the other guys, but it doesn't. That's the thing. And I kind of
right.
thought that was understood. I was just trying to do something in service to the fans of the warning, figuring, well, this is unusual and it should be a good list. So, I mean, I left it up. I figured I'd ask your opinion on this to see what you think.
Um, yeah, when it's fan cam that you so it's fan cam,
Yeah,
right? From my
couple of them,
understanding of
two of them. Yeah.
somebody else, and you took that video and did a reaction to it,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
basically.
I modified it. I transformed
Right.
it. But
And
yes,
he's
then
mad
that's
that
what we
you took
did.
his original.
No, he's not even related. He's neither of those cameras. He's just some
So
random person came along and said, "Hey, you're stealing from them," and not even a warning fan.
I
So
would
I
just
mean,
treat it like the same thing you're treating it as the official video,
yeah,
especially if it's not theirs and that's something you want to do.
yeah,
I I I think I would ignore him.
okay. I mean, we credited I mean, we mentioned
Right.
the other two cameras in all the videos, you
Right.
know,
I
'cause-
you know, I've done fan cam where I've all you always say, hey, this is this person's here's the original video, you know.
right, yeah. So
Um, yeah, I
I mean, maybe I could have approached and asked, but what I was trying to do at that point was find something I could work with and spent a lot of time on that and
you
didn't
know,
seem like, well, I don't know.
I I had a similar situation where it was let me see if I can find it. I want to know what part I ended at. I did a series like a I think it was going to be like a total of like 11 or 12 songs
Hmm.
of a certain group. It was actual video from it was pro shot video from the venue that I was
Oh,
doing, but I had
mhm.
somebody else that had no involvement in that music whatsoever. It was to a band called Crystal Lake.
Okay.
It
I've
was
heard of them.
Resurrection Fest. I don't know if
Oh,
you've ever
okay.
heard of that festival.
Oh, well, I'll check it out now.
Crystal Lake is another group out of Japan. They do more they're a pretty heavy metal band, like a screamo
Cool, cool.
type
Okay.
band. They played at a festival called Resurrection Fest, and I was doing reacting to that whole
Convention.
Resurrection Fest series of Crystal Lake, and I actually had two individuals. Here I just pulled it up. It was two individuals saying, "Hey, we had to buy these DVDs."
Oh,
Um,
oh. Well,
and
that doesn't,
you're
yeah,
putting it out for free, and I'm like, "Well, this
yeah,
video is on YouTube for free."
yeah.
And they're like, "Well, can you still, hey, we're still, they haven't even fulfilled the pre-orders yet." And I'm like, "So you're buying content that's free?"
Yeah, yeah. Good
So
point.
it was that's kind of a weird dynamic you put yourself in because I never want to take away from somebody's ability to monetize or get
Right. Oh,
money
that,
for
yeah, that's the other thing. The video is completely demonetized, so there's no money being made from it.
right. So it was a weird dynamic. I ultimately didn't finish the series because they reached out to me very nicely.
Oh, okay.
It's now I think the video what it's let me look. When did I make it public?
Maybe 2019 or something. It looks like maybe they were there.
Uh, yeah, I think my video went out in 2021, March of
Okay,
2021.
okay.
Um, and I was like, I'll hold off for now because I see that I see that you're buying DVD is actually available. You know, people are buying this DVD and it's on their website, but they also have the whole video out on YouTube. So it was weird. I was like, okay, I'll hold off. I actually ended up meaning to finish that, go back to it like 6 months later, 3 months later or something,
Hmm.
and finish it. But I actually held off because it was, you know, I seen people buying it and I didn't want to put more content that would possibly take away from that stream
Sure, yeah.
or that DVD from being bought. And I've done the similar stuff to Bandmade. Hey, I see that you guys are ripping these videos apart and distributing it to these reactors to do. I don't feel comfortable with putting it out. They did
Yeah.
that with the Christmas acoustic concert.
Okay.
A lot
Hmm.
of people reacted to a lot of the Christmas acoustic concert, and I was like, "Wow, you're crazy for putting that up. I can't be
Oh, because
comfortable with
that's a,
that because I people are still buying the DVD or the
yeah,
CD.
yeah,
You know, that's a risk, obviously,
yeah.
because Bandmade, that's a revenue stream for Bandmade that you're running
Right.
it. You could be running into a situation where they're actively monetizing that in a way that isn't on YouTube, and you're putting that out on YouTube. That's always risky. But
Yeah,
I get where you're saying there's a almost a moral compass in what way do you want to lean there is a very
yeah,
difficult thing. I think a lot of reactors struggle with. A lot of them don't care. They'll just put out whatever. They have no
yeah.
shame and stuff. But you also want to take your favorite music creators
Hmm.
and respect them, you know.
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah.
I
Well,
don't care about the CEOs. I do not. I
sure.
get it. I get it. They
Yeah.
have a job too, but it's more of, hey, the band is benefiting from this. Do you want to put that content out?
Right, right. Yeah. And as we've been doing this more and more, we've actually been kind of tightening up the pipeline that we'll use to look for videos.
Right, I did that as well.
Yeah.
Very early on, I think I have some early bandmade works that I put out, because I was reacting to whatever people were sending me. I was doing
Right.
7 videos a week at one
Yeah.
point there.
Oh, we're doing like 14 right now.
I see that. I was, you guys were uploading I seen the uploads of you guys coming through. I was like, oh
Yeah.
wow, they're just going for it.
Yeah,
That's
why
cool to
not?
see.
We enjoy it, so.
Yeah, and so I have some early works out from like they were selling Bandmade was had a DVD out. I can't remember the concert. Maybe it was their Zepp
Mhm.
concert or something like that, or
Okay. All right.
some other
Mhm.
stuff that they were selling. I didn't know at the time. I was new into reactions. I was just putting out whatever.
Yeah.
So it was people ripping, you know,
DVDs.
their live concerts and then sending me stuff. Hey, would you check out this song? And I was just like, yeah, sure. Now I understand it a lot better, and
Mm.
now I don't do that anymore and stuff.
Well, this
Unless
is a.
Bandmade has put it out themselves,
Mhm.
or it's official, or I see I see, hey, 50 other reaction videos. It's 3 months later, there's no issues. Oh,
Right, right.
okay,
Yeah.
I will
I,
check that material out and stuff.
I,
But
I think we put up some things like that that came off DVDs, but generally they're from years ago. They're not
right,
fresh releases.
yeah.
Still, I mean, I think we're going to try to avoid that from now on, just because it sounds like a best practice to avoid those.
Yeah, you never know what they're going to do with that material. They could have a bigger plan for it. Maybe
Sure.
it becomes a commissioned work later on or
Yeah. Well,
something. Then they're answering to
you
another
know.
company. We have reaction videos out, you never know. It's a spooky space we're in. You just
Well,
never know.
I'm also of the mind. I don't actually want to hurt the artists financially, whoever they
Absolutely.
are. That's being a musician myself, and I understand. You just don't want to do that. It's just the right thing, you know. And reactions don't even make much anyway. I mean, so what's the point?
Yeah, you have to weigh the cost we have no idea what it might be for them in their contracts, that download that they could have got from that song, but somebody else went and watched it on a reaction video anyways, if they're monetizing that video, does that equate to the same as a download?
Hmm.
Per
Yeah.
1,000 views that you get paid out,
Right. Yeah.
YouTube don't even pay out till you hit 1,000 views,
Yeah.
you know?
That's right.
So
So, yeah.
does that band, what's the quantification there for that band to say yes or no? There's album sales that you get from, they're only getting the monetization, those streams. If a reactor gets 100,000 views on that video, those aren't being counted to their album sales.
Mhm. Yeah.
They're only getting the monetization. For a band to hit #1 on Billboard, what is the advertising power in that?
Mm.
You know,
I thought I had heard that they had started to count digitally somehow the streams and use that as some type of a measure. I don't know much about it. I saw that in passing.
I
It's
I kind of I looked at it a little bit yesterday. I reached out to my company. They couldn't get back to me in time on that specific question, but as
okay.
far as I could tell, they're only counting the monetization. They're not counting the click-through rate on that.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Which is and that might be for certain platforms like Billboard,
Hmm.
they might want an original click because they do count unfiltered and filtered streams like Spotify does.
Hmm.
The are you clicking through a playlist, or are you clicking through a sponsor, or are you clicking through
Interesting.
the
Yeah.
original page? They'll adjust how much you're getting paid just on that criteria alone.
Interesting. Playlists play more or less.
Yeah, it's very interesting,
We don't know.
and I, and it probably varies from artist to artist based on what's their contract through that streaming
Yeah,
service or
yeah,
through
yeah.
YouTube. My ritual was able to work out on mine, and that, a company can do this for you as well. They can work out what you get paid per thousand views or what you get paid per click through ad,
Right,
or
right.
they can
Mhm.
adjust those levels for you. They'll work with YouTube to adjust those levels for you.
Hmm,
Um,
okay.
you know, um, I think a standard, I can't remember what the pay on a standard 1,000 views is, but it's
Probably
not a
three
lot. It's like
bucks.
$2 or $3 and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I'm closer to 10.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
So those are things that you can look into.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
if
Well,
that's
we'll
one of the
definitely take a look.
routes if that's one of the routes that you guys want to look at and stuff like that. I know you guys were curious about some of that stuff. Even a
Yeah.
smaller channel, even if you don't have that check mark next to your name, those things, they can work out those things for you.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I
Like I
think we're
said,
gonna.
you might want income coming in somewhere else if YouTube
Hmm.
income can't offset that, because they will ask for upfront costs on those
Yeah. Okay.
negotiations.
Well, yeah, I'll keep that in mind. We do plan on continuing reactions regardless of what happens. Maybe I can give a little bit of background on the channel itself. We started in the beginning of 2021 really as a way to keep in touch with each other and to talk music. And
That's
we
a
thought,
cool way to start, though.
yeah, we'll do whatever we want, and
Right.
that's how it all began, and we just kind of meandered into reactions actually in about the last year or so, and it's worked out really well. We were collecting way back in the early 80s, and I mean, I got the first Metallica album when it was a fresh album, and bought, first edition Exodus, Bonded by Blood, Master of Puppets, Hell Awaits, Venom, Welcome to Hell,
I
all these,
We'll have to talk outside, maybe in a YouTube, or I'll send you a text or something like that of
Mhm.
some of these groups that will can go up on YouTube and stuff like that, because that's
Okay.
an area that I want to venture into.
Cool, cool. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great. I think actually at this point we should probably wrap fairly soon. Uh,
Sure.
yeah, I want to mention though today is Adrian's birthday, so happy birthday,
Oh,
Adrian.
happy birthday, Adrian. That's really cool. I do have a couple things here that I want to bounce
Sure,
off of you.
sure.
So I guess you just answered that. Why did you start your reaction channel?
Yeah,
Um, what made you guys first react to a Japanese band?
really a reaction came in, and I think the first modern band that we heard, because we were doing all classic rock, and actually at one point last year,
I seen that.
yeah, I stopped and I was like, wait a minute, these are all male bands. It's like entirely male bands, and fine, that's cool, and that's how it used to be. But I know that there's female-driven bands out there now. So I tried looking, and there really aren't a lot in the classic rock realm. I mean, it's you got to dig a little bit.
Right.
But then you get into modern rock. Somebody said, "Hey, check out The Warning," and so that was the first modern
I
video
can
we
already
did.
see the crossover there.
Yeah, yeah,
One
and yeah,
leads to the other.
Band Made, Love Bites, Nemophila.
Hmm.
Lots of these other bands, came out of that. People said, "Oh, maybe you like this," and so and off we ran.
Yeah, I was actually playing a game of Monopoly when I started my channel.
Oh yeah.
My dad was big into watching reactions,
Mhm.
pentatonics,
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Ginger, um, um, Nightwish,
Okay.
groups like that. And
Sure.
then, for a couple weeks leading up to me making my channel, my dad was stomping around the house, yelling at me, "Hey, you got to check out this group called Bandmade. You got to check them
Nice.
out. You got to check them out," because he knows what kind of music I like. And
Hmm.
he was like, and I was like, "Bandmade," and I asked him a little bit about it, and he told me, "Hey, Japanese girls in maid outfits,
Right, they're wearing
rocking
maid
out."
outfits.
And I'm
What?
like, why would I ever want to look at that? And then I was sitting there in the game of Monopoly, and finally he just was hounding me, and I was like, okay, I'll watch a song, and it was Moratorium
Oh
by,
yeah.
and I'm a big bassist guy. I am
Nice.
actually pivoting my channel. I reached out to a company called Identity. They just got me my content ID. I'll be transferring my channel to a music channel. You'll see the little music
Oh,
thing
yeah.
because I'm going to put some of my original works,
Oh, nice.
actually learning the bass,
Oh, that's great.
up on my channel.
I was
So
going to ask you about that. Yeah, if you
I'm
were
a
a
big
musician.
bass guy. I dabbled into drums as well back. I was actually in a punk rock band here, a
Nice.
local rock band. They actually went on to be quite successful.
Good on them.
Um, Never Say Never is the name of the group.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep
They
an eye out.
moved to Washington, made it big, got on the Warp Tour,
Mm, very
and
nice.
I didn't think they were going to go anywhere, so I was like, see you later.
Isn't that always the way? I mean, it's a lot of work, I know, to be on tour and doing all that.
Oh
So,
yeah, I was pretty wild back in my high school days too, so I had
mm,
no time for a band. But
yeah,
anyways, a little squirrel moment there.
cool though.
I checked out the song called Moratorium by Bandmate, and the bass was insane in that song. I remember it, and I was like, I got it. I want to talk about it.
Yeah,
How can I talk about this? And he showed me a reaction, and I was like, I can do that. I can show people this band. Maybe somebody else will find this band from me talking
yeah,
about it.
that's right.
It hit a little nerve in my brain that I just had to fulfill and had to get it out and how to talk about it. And the rest is history.
That's excellent.
And
Yeah,
that's
we
how I
just did
got into
moratorium.
Japanese music.
We just did that one, I think, last week or the
I
week
watched
before.
it.
Yeah,
I watched
nice,
it the other day. I actually watched a lot of your guys' Japanese reactions
nice,
anyways,
nice. Well, much
previous to getting
appreciated.
in contact with you guys.
That's cool.
What is your favorite band right now?
Gosh, right now, I'd have to say The Warning is
The
my
Warning.
favorite band. Yeah, I just see so much. And I don't know that they've even started yet, really. You know?
I don't think so. I think they're only
Yeah.
getting better. I don't have any reactions up of the warning.
Hmm.
But I'm very familiar with the warning. You just one leads to the other in the
Yeah,
reaction space, you know. And
yeah. There's
I think
just
they're
so.
phenomenal, and I think they're only getting better as musicians as well.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree. Yeah, they're continuing to expand their whole skill set, and
Right.
all the way around everything
I
they do.
yeah. I actually on our local radio station, my dad just was in the car and heard the warning. You know, on a
Nice.
local radio station. You
That's
know,
awesome. I
a
wonder if
lot
it
of
was.
times you'll hear a band through a radio station that's being broadcasted out of LA or
Mhm.
broadcasted out of Atlanta or something like that. One of the
Right.
bigger, like Lou Brutus or something like that. I don't
Hmm.
know if you've heard of him.
No, but I'll check
Big,
them.
huge. Oh, he's worked with every band in the industry,
Oh,
probably.
okay.
Or he does interviews with all bands. He does a channel out of LA, and he broadcasts it, and it's just really cool channel. His name's Lou Brutus.
Lou Brutus.
Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Check them out. Yeah.
but on our local radio station, our actual local radio station, the DJ played The Warning. So
Nice.
the
Nice. Yeah.
outreach is getting there.
They have a song that apparently is doing really well on the Billboard rock chart, like number nine, number eight, depending on how it falls.
I did see that. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
Sick is the name. So, which is pretty good. It's one of the good ones. There's so many good songs on the new album.
before we end it here, I got some Japanese band recommendations for you as well. I
Ah,
know you
okay.
asked me about that. So if you
Sure.
want a list, the first band you should check out is called Glim
Glim.
Spanky.
Glim Spanky. Okay.
Um, she kind of has a very, very unique, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Janis Joplin.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice. Okay.
really
I'll
cool band
check that
there.
out.
Another band you should definitely check out in the Japanese music space is called Wagaki Band.
Wagaki. Okay. All right. Yeah. Cool.
Another band you should check out. She just started singing in the group is Astrism. It's a
Astros.
three-piece group, very phenomenal instruments. And then she just went into singing as well. I think their last album, she did the vocals on it. I think
Okay.
that's a band to look out for. Um, uh, Sokinaru. If you need me to spell
Sokonaru.
anything,
No, that's all right. Usually,
it'll
if I
pop
put in
up.
even the phonetic, Google will find it.
Yeah,
So
Sokinaru.
okay, cool.
Couple more here, just on the Japanese band
Mhm.
recommendation. And I kind of went through your channel to see what you guys were interested in, dude. So I think this music will kind of be in line of what I see a lot of what you listen to.
Good.
So,
Okay.
Ninjin Isu. two different words there. Ninjan,
Ninjan. Isu?
Isu, ISU.
You, okay. Got
Okay.
it.
A little bit heavier group that you should check out is called Maximum the Hormone.
Maximum the Hormone. I think I've heard of them, actually.
I'm sure you have if you've done
Yeah.
some Japanese
Yeah.
music. And
Okay.
then last one is Gacharic Spin.
How do you Gacharic?
Gacharic, and then Spin.
Spin. Okay, cool.
And
Yeah.
then on the opposite end, just some other bands that you should check out that I didn't see on your channel, but maybe you might have them on there is Tool.
Oh yeah, Tool. Yeah, actually, I played with a drummer that worshiped Tool, so I've
Phenomenal musicianship in that.
Yeah,
If you get into the nitty gritty of that group, they actually used a Fibonacci sequence to create a song.
I used to work at a math council, so I'm very well familiar with
You'll be
Fibonacci.
interested when you get to that song. Somebody will recommend it to you if you get into Tool.
Cool. Okay.
Another group, Ginger.
Ginger, yep, with the J, right? Yeah.
Yep. Again, the musicianship in that group, if Tatiana's vocals aside, the musicianship in that group is top notch.
Nice.
Unleash the Archers.
Unleash the Archers. Okay. Very good. Okay.
Elite Bata.
Okay. All right.
And last one, Main Skin.
Mean Skin. Okay. Cool. All right.
I'd love to see those bands on your channel.
I will.
I think you'd be very successful with those channels because they have that sound that you're already going to be used to, and I think your audience will automatically pivot to those groups. So,
Nice. All right. I will definitely check those out. I'm very interested. And Adrian, I'll pass them along to you to see what you think as we go along. Okay. All right. Well, geez, I kind of hate to stop, but I think we kind of need to jet at this point.
it's
But
all good.
I
We should do this
appreciate.
again.
Yeah, we should. Absolutely. I really appreciate your coming on and kind of sharing some of your expertise and just having the conversation.
I wouldn't call it expertise, but I appreciate that.
Thoughts.
Thoughts.
Good enough. All right. Well, thanks so much. And yeah, we'll get in touch. In the
Okay.
meanwhile, yeah, keep on rocking.
All right. Of course. You as well.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Well, take care, guys. And everybody who came along, thanks so much for
Adrian, it was
joining
nice
us.
to meet you as well.
Thanks. Good to meet you.
All right.
I'll see you all later.
All right.
Have a good
See you
one.
on the channel, folks. All right. Take care. Okay. Bye-bye.